paradox is that it all comes back to my childhood. You know, things I experienced from a long time ago make their way back into my life, but through my head. So, video games are obviously going to be a big part of that. So to focus on other things too, like music I used to listen to. I mean, I listen to the same music as I did back then, so that's not really going to do much. But what about movies and TV shows? I mean, TV shows. What did I watch back then? Or watched a lot of Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon, that's it. The Nicktoons, Rocko's Modern Life, Doug, the Rugrats. Oh my gosh, I forgot all about them. In fact, come to think of it, there was a Rugrats video game on the PlayStation. I remember.
One of the more popular TV shows of the 90s was Rugrats on Nickelodeon. It was one of the original 3 Nicktoons alongside Doug and Ren and Stimpy. Yeah, Ren and Stimpy, remember them? Rugrats went on for quite a few seasons. It eventually spanned its own movie. There's some hype behind it for a while. It eventually kind of faded off. But, of course, this meant that they had to make a video game based off of it, right? Developed by N-Space and released by THQ in 1998, Rugrats was a platformer on the PlayStation. The game was promoted heavily between THQ and Sony Computer Entertainment of America. See, they wanted to get a whole lot of new gamers in on their console since Nintendo was pretty much dominating the market when it came to children. While the game's not the best, and we're about to get into that ourselves, it did sell quite a few copies at its time, making it a success. So, couldn't be that bad, right? Of course, right off the bat, you're going to notice it's very much kid-centric. I mean, the show was too, to be fair, so there's really nothing to worry about there. They even got the loading screens to resemble the introduction of the episodes from the TV show. So the game starts with Tommy stomping around, looking for his Reptar puzzle, which apparently went missing. You can't blame him for being dumb on that. I mean, Tommy's, what, like a year old? So the whole premise of the game is to go around completing different levels based off of the, the actual cartoon. And every time you do so, you obtain a piece of the Reptar puzzle. Find all the puzzle pieces, put them together, and you beat the game. Now you can also get Reptar pieces by finding, I believe, I think it's if you get 15 of the Reptar bars. And there's a few bonus levels. So it is entirely possible to beat this without playing through the entire game. Why would you want to do that? Well, I'm about to show you, so don't worry. So the game does play like a 3D platformer. I mean, it's not Mario 64 or anything, but you do have that shitty camera. I don't know why they had trouble getting the camera right after Mario showed us how it's done. You can pick up certain objects and fling them, but there's really almost no use to this, maybe once or twice in the game. But that's about it. It makes some cool little sound effects, but yeah, if you're really amused by that, you probably are in the demographic age to play this game. You'd think the game looks easy enough to maneuver around in, but you'd be dead wrong. Not only does the camera get in the way, as mentioned before, but sometimes you'll hit things that you're not even really touching. Try to run past a chair or a desk and crash right into it. Furthermore, sometimes running into the walls or objects will actually hurt you. Sometimes it won't. I haven't quite figured out the formula for it. And Tommy has that stupid little jump that he does with the boing sound. Doesn't jump very high. The Pickles house adds as like a home world hub kind of thing. You can run around, look for levels to complete, look for Reptar bars, or you can play fetch with the dog, or play with Bubble or Popcorn. Really not that much to do here, to be honest. But it is really nice to see the Pickles family home fleshed out in full 3D. Anyone that watched the show would definitely recognize what everything is. So every level starts with these little cutscenes that reenact something from the TV show. I'm not going to sit here and watch all of them, so don't dwell on that. Like, for example, here, this is where Grandpa loses his teeth at a picnic. And, of course, the whole point is to go find his teeth. Sounds kind of boring, honestly, but it follows the show, so, again, you really can't complain too much. Maybe it would have been better for them to come up with something more original for the game, but again, they didn't make too many games like this, so why not follow the source material? As far as the graphics go, seeing the characters from the show brought to life in 3D, it is a little wonky and weird to look at, because they were originally just 2D cartoon characters, but they did a pretty good job, and it's not quite cell shading. That didn't come around until later, but they did good for what they had. Although I can't help but wonder if they maybe should have made this on Nintendo's console instead of Sony's. I mean, they took quite a gamble going to the competitor for a kid-based game, but I guess they were set up to prove something. Nintendo's not the only company you need to go to if you want a game for your children, but they are probably the best company to go to. Each level has you playing as different characters, or they switch around. Mainly you're playing as Tommy, but there are times when you play as the others like Chucky or Angelica. or even the dog. Really not that fun looking back at it. I mean, yes, I know, this game came out in 1998 when I was 10 years old, and right now I'm 32 years old, so of course I'm not going to get much enjoyment out of this, but I don't know. I don't think nostalgia is really going to be what pulls you into this game. Luckily, most of the levels are fairly short and can be beaten pretty quickly. There are some that are a pain in the ass. This level here with the maze isn't too bad as long as you don't keep running into the duck, but sometimes that camera is going to be what kills you. Yes, I said kills you because you do have a health meter in the game. Although, unlike any other game where you die, here the baby just falls down and starts crying, which sounds appropriate, but if someone read that on paper, they might think it was a little bit morbid. As I said, the maze can be a little much. They put markers on the ground to help you, but I think that's more to make up for the shitty camera than it is actual difficulty in finding your way through the maze, because it's very simple, honestly, but that fucking camera and that fucking goose. Can that fucking goose just go fuck off? Nope, he's going to fuck off, and we have to chase him, riding on top of the dog. The controls are even worse here than they were before. Trying to get him to pivot around is a pain, and he keeps running into the walls. And sadly, this is not the only time in the game where you play as a fucking dog. Be honest, God, I wish Chucky would just shut his damn mouth. He's just been screaming this entire time. You can't jump over the log, come on, jump! Then this boss part, if you can call it that, you're literally just pivoting Tommy and kicking discs at the duck. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is harder than it looks. I mean, I've had it before in the past where I would just keep spamming it right from the beginning and hit the duck every time and kill him, but this time, no. Sometimes it can be really hard to hit him. You either move too slow or too fast with the pucks. Like how you can actually kill Chucky if you're not careful, but to be honest, I've never done it. Hitting Chucky is even harder than hitting the duck. Why doesn't the dog just go out and rip the damn duck's throat out or something? He's just standing there watching. So yeah, that's over. He gets his teeth back. Whoop-de-doo, we're not watching this.
This is kind of fun.
As I said before, sometimes he plays other characters. You got this part here where you're actually playing as Chucky, playing hide-and-seek with the kids. This is the laziest excuse of a video game level I've ever heard of. It's just running around the house, finding them, and then to make it harder, you have to race them back to the playpen, which also is really not hard. Now the catch is that Chucky's missing his glasses. You'd think they would have used the opportunity to make something of it, like maybe Chucky has trouble seeing, so the screen's distorted, or maybe the controls are backwards or something. That would have been annoying, but at least it would have been creative. They didn't do any of that. It's literally just Chucky running around without his glasses. Makes no difference if you can actually see or not, because we can. So this level is just annoying. Every now and then you run into a glitch where the characters just stand in place and you don't actually get them to the playpen. This could potentially break the game and make you have to restart. Luckily, I was able to get by it. That level's done. Let's never play it again. This bonus level where you have to, I guess, keep Angelica from getting the box of cookies. So you have all these toddlers just eating cookies non-stop, hogging the entire box, tossing it around. It's almost like they're bullying the girl. This level's not hard. You really just gotta mash the button until she shows up, throw it to another baby. Just keep doing that until the box is empty. But I have actually screwed this up before. You beat it, you get a Reptar piece. Let's move on. Oh, Stu, you and your crazy fucking experiments. Anyone that watched the show would know about Stu and his toy experiments, and especially the mysterious Mr. Friend, or Fiend, as the kids called him. This part, you're literally just running around the basement fighting him off. This might be the simplest and most entertaining part of the game because it's an actual boss fight with an enemy that you have to destroy. The platforming parts make the most sense here. You use cans to hurt him, you can sometimes push him over. After you beat him the first time, though, you have to fight several of them. More chances to get hit. It really doesn't add anything to the game. This is a strange metaphor for the entire game. There's a lot in it, but there's not very much at all that's worthwhile. Alright, so we beat Mr. Friend. That part's over. Very simple, very easy. Let's move on. Okay, now this is probably the worst bonus level in the game. Fucking Mirrorland. So, it's not just that things are backwards, everything's upside down. And this is PS1 level graphics we're talking, so everything is very disorienting. The goal is you have to find these boxes, open them up, and these balloons fly out. You then have to collect all those balloons in that color. They can be scattered around that room or nearby rooms or hallways. You have a timer to collect them, and once you collect them all, that color balloon fills up with a piece of Reptar. Very, very simple, but man, it is overbearing when you play it because it just gives you a headache looking at these graphics upside down, backwards, and ugh. This level with this kind of design, it honestly overstays its welcome. I'm sure for all you speedrunners out there, this part is not your favorite.
The scaredy cat around here. This'll never work.
Oh god, Toy Palace. I forgot about this level. It's another one of the shitty ones, a little bit longer than the others. You've got enemies everywhere, and they're all scaring the shit out of poor Chucky. Yes, they don't hurt him, they scare him, because Chucky's a scaredy cat. I wonder if Chucky ever watched the Child's Play movies. He must have shit his diaper. Come to think of it, Chucky actually looks like Chucky from Child's Play. That couldn't have been an accident. So you're running around this toy shop. I don't even remember the objective, to be honest with you. I kind of stopped caring after a while. The whole point is just get to the end, go where it tells you to go, and hope that it's over. At this point in the game, I'm just becoming annoyed that I'm still playing this shit. But we're gonna go for it all. We're gonna beat this game. We're gonna find that fucking Reptar. This part here, we have to collect all the boxes, bring them back somewhere. You can use them to climb up higher. This is tedious. It'd actually be more fun if the enemy did more chase you around instead of staying in that one spot. I mean, theoretically the baby could just sit right there on the piano piece until a grown-up finds them, they'd be fine. But nope, it's a game. You gotta complete it.
This is my mommy and daddy's room.
Well, I'm glad that part's over, but the next part's not any better. So we're looking at the 7 voyages of Cynthia. That Cynthia. Cynthia's Angelica's doll that she carries around everywhere, and I don't know, something about that doll is a little oddly familiar to me in not the right ways. Oh, no, that's it, I'm not doing this part. Oh my god, okay, come on Jimmy, calm down, it's just a fucking game. Oh my god, it's not even the same thing, it's just a cartoon version. Ugh. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's that. We're not gonna dwell on it anymore. I'm just gonna skip that part of the game and get these Reptar pieces another way. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right. Let's go. Incident on Aisle 7. Another frustrating level. It's just like the toy level, except this time it's in a grocery store. This level is even more annoying. They try to split in different phases, and it's a little confusing. There's not that much between the phases. It's just get from point A to point B. It is possible to accidentally backtrack, just like you did in the earlier phase. You know, this must be the worst looking supermarket I've ever seen. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong. There's leaking water everywhere, there's shit flying around.
Those look yummy.
There's cookies sitting on top of vegetables. Jesus Christ, that's a health hazard. There's baby with a probably dirty diaper running around in the food and jumping on scales. That alone. Ugh. Jesus Christ. Shut this fucking place down now. Are there rats in this level?
Ah! Pinchy things!
No, instead there's a bunch of lobsters that got loose. You know, look, now we've got the lobsters again, this time with a big boss lobster. So, you can fight or make it past the small ones, but you actually have to throw a can at the big one to stun him to climb up and activate a, switch? Sounds terrible. It is terrible. Oh my god. It's not that difficult or anything, it's just, it feels like it's insulting my intelligence as a gamer doing this.
Yay!
Someone should arrest Grandpa for letting the kid run loose like that. I mean, Jesus Christ, if that ain't child abuse, I don't know what is. I know I haven't done every level, like the circus level, for example, which is one of the easier ones, but I'm honestly going to go with probably the most fun part of this entire game, from what I remember. The one part that was included as a separate multiplayer component. That's the mini golf. I remember when this game came out. Whenever friends would come over, we would just play the mini golf segment. Mini golf, mini golf, mini golf, ice cream mountain, ice cream mountain. It was fun, or was it? So sequentially, you have to make it through every single hole on the course, and make sure that you're under par. If you're not, you have to restart that hole.
I'm getting to ice cream mountain if it takes till nap time.
Some of them, it is possible to get a hole in one. It's kind of satisfying when you do, but you're not going to make a hole in one on every single one. There are some where it's just impossible. I do gotta admit, the mini golf course is pretty rad. If you've ever been on a real mini golf course, it's, kind of what you would expect. That's what makes this part fun, but looking back at it now, controls are not very good on this. They're simple, but you don't get that much precision when aiming the ball. I guess it's because it's not a full-on golf course, just mini golf. But you rotate it, you have a power meter. Pretty simple.
Come again soon. Bye-bye.
That is, until you get to hole 6. Oh my fucking god, I forgot how difficult this one is.
You don't want all that ice cream anyway. Boy, talk about...
See, I tried to be slick and skim the ball across the rim of that slope, but it just didn't work. You think, oh, big deal, the ball went down in the hole, what are you gonna do? Getting it out of the hole is such a pain in the ass. Just watch. I hit that fucker with full force, and it just keeps rolling back.
Come again soon. Bye-bye.
And again.
Now, where's that ice cream?
And again!
This is harder than it looks.
And again, oh my god, I'm over par. And it won't stop. You have to keep going until you make the fucking ball into the hole. Which means I'm over par, and when I finally do make the ball into the hole, I gotta restart this entire course. Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm not making that fucking mistake again. What's funny about hole 9 is, in the cartoon, you had to make a hole in one on Ice Cream Mountain to actually win the free ice cream, but here, you get a par of 3, so as long as you make it by the third shot, it doesn't really matter. So what is the end game? You put the last puzzle piece in, and you immediately unlock the game's special level. Reptar Zolo. What is Reptar Zolo? Well, you're literally just running around as Reptar Godzilla style, destroying buildings and shit. Sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. It is not. Some of the attacks don't seem to register as hits on the building. In fact, the best way to destroy the buildings is really just to walk into them. The fire is just for show, it doesn't do anything. I don't even think the attack does anything. The camera's still terrible. But this time it's actually a little worse because Reptar takes up so much of the screen. Too bad they didn't put enemies on this stage. Then again, never mind, if they put enemies on this stage, it'd probably be impossible to beat. This is presented as a sandbox to run around having fun as Reptar, but it's really just a chore. Get from the beginning to the very end.
Prepared for giant fire-breathing dinosaur attack? We'll show you how, tonight at 10.
Sometimes figuring out where to go in between the buildings is a pain. Climbing up, turning, climbing down, ugh. Just do yourself a favor and just run straight to the end if you're playing this miserable hunk of shit. But as much as I've shit on this game, there's one little message at the very end. We did this for the children. That hits home seeing that. I mean, yeah, I can't stand this game now, and maybe if I was a little older when it came out, I wouldn't be able to stand it back then either. But you gotta admire that they set out to do something for the kids. And they didn't go through Nintendo to do it. They wanted to do something different. They worked past limitations. They made a good deal with Sony, and they pulled off a Rugrats video game. Not a very good one, but you have to admire what they were trying to do. Then again, on the other hand, The other Rugrats games that came out afterwards I recall being on the N64 and on Game Boy and such, so maybe after this Sony experiment, they didn't want to touch the console again after that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the PlayStation. There's a lot of things that did better than the N64, but maybe they had some limitations they had to work out, and that would be why this game had the problems it did. Who knows? But anyway, just in case you were curious, that was Rugrats Search for Reptar on the PS1.